Hey, welcome back to Five Lakes Garage. Today we're back on our 2006 Mazda 3. Alright, so what we're going to do today is actually very simple and very easy, and anybody can actually do it. Now, I told you before on the other videos that I'm not going to do any work on this thing unless I had Ray with me. Unfortunately, I can't get Ray away from her job, her J-O-B. But that's okay because she does need to work and she's learning a lot and gaining a lot of responsibilities over there. So I do not fault her for that. So what we're actually going to do is something that she's already done because we were going to do this last time, but supply chain decided not to. Anyway, so what we're going to do is take these nasty cruddy things out and replace it with these at least painted ones. Now this is very simple. I do have another video on actually replacing the strut, not the spring, where you have to take the spring off and actually compress it and stuff like that. I'll leave a link at the end of the video. And this one here is all together. I did spend a couple extra bucks to actually get this thing done, to where I didn't have to spend so much time on it because we have other things that we need to get done, which you'll see that on a later video. And hopefully with Ray here, hopefully tomorrow she'll be here and actually put some work into it. So anyway, enough talking. Let's get it back underneath this thing and start tearing stuff back apart after we just had them off, to be able to install this guy on the passenger side. And if you know the passenger side, you know the driver's side. All right, let's get over there and start pulling some wrenches out. All right, step one, jack up your car. It's kind of what Marty Moog always tells us, jack up your car. Now, I have it on jack stands right where the actual pinch welds are, to where you're actually going to be jacking it up if you have to change your tire. Later on, we're going to do a video of that with Ray actually changing his tire because she has to pass that test before she can actually still drive this thing. So, next step, pull your wheel off. I'm going to use an impact just to pull it off. Don't use an impact to actually put them on. If you do that, you could stretch your threads or your lugs, whatever, and then you have to go with new stuff yet again. All right, so we got the tire off. As you can see, we haven't been driving a little bit because now she's starting to rust already. Okay, so the things we need to do is going to get this caliper back off. We're going to go ahead and take the rotor back off, and then sway bar disconnect. Just undo it up here, pull that off. Disconnect your brake line up here on the little clip, pull that off, and then, all right, then you're going to take your bolt off right here on the back. Once you get that off, you should be able to beat this down in order to separate it. Don't forget your electrical wire. You don't want to stretch that, break it, or whatever, because then you have problems with your codes, and you don't want to do that. So yeah, that off, and then we should be able to pull this guy off by taking these three bolts off. So come join me. Let's just pull it off real quick. All right, so we got it out, and this is one reason why we really wanted to get it changed. Now all this crud down here, that's basically the oil from the shock actually leaking out and getting all over everything. So the actual shock itself, gone. The spring, you could salvage it. We can take some compressors and actually squeeze this down on both sides, hopefully keep it safe. If you want to know how to do that, you can check out the link on the other video. I did it on the minivan. And then only then, once this is compressed all the way down and this is no longer touching, then you can take your bolt off. Now this one up here, nice and rusted. Another reason why we wanted to go with the other setup. Now the other setup does come with the actual strut, the spring, and the cap. Now the cap is kind of important because listen. Not sure if you can hear that, but I can hear a lot of grit and a lot of nastiness all inside of that bearing right there inside. So we're gonna go with the new hotness, which is this guy. All new construction, new spring, new shock, and new top. So just take off the tags and we'll throw it in. Simple as that. New strut actually comes with new hardware for the top. Try not to bust it open and go everywhere, just because. All right, so just know that these guys here actually fit a lot of different vehicles. Some of the hardware is not going to be exactly the same. The old stuff was a 14 millimeter wrench. These are 10. So keep that in mind. Keep your toolbox handy. I'm gonna stick these guys right up here, so that's where I'm gonna need them. Now, a couple of things you need to realize. There is a right and there is a left. Make sure you order one for one side, one for the other side. And also, if you look on the back side, so if you look on the back side, it says R. This one's for the right side, so I'm on the right side of the car. The other side, guess what? It said left, or L anyway. All right, so we're ready to put this guy inside. Now this little slot right here will actually go in the back of your spindle, so make sure you have that lined up, and then it should be ready to go. Stick it in, and make sure that your bolts line up. What we gotta do now is actually line this guy up with your actual shaft itself. Now I left the bolts up top loose so that I can have a little bit more movement in order to get this in there. And basically, give it a heave, give it a hoe. There we go. All right. Make sure your back of it is lined up in the back, and then you start. That looks good. All right. Now, quick and easy way of doing this. Get yourself a floor jack. So push up on the bottom. Don't push it too high because then the car will come off the jack stands. So just ease it up. Alright. Once you put some pressure on it, you take your dead blow hammer and just give it some couple vibrations. Do not hit your electrical connection. Alright, once it slides all the way in place, you should be able to get your bolt back in. Go ahead and tighten that down. Get your jack out of the way. So the only thing that you have left to do is just start putting everything back on. You have your sway bar disconnect, you have your electrical line, you have your brake caliper, you got your rotor. Put it all back on. Good as done. And don't forget to tighten up everything once it's down on the ground. Alright, there is one thing that I do need to let you know about these Chinese knockoff things. Sometimes you need to modify things in order to get things to work because the manufacturing process is not exactly what we need it to be. Case in point. Alright, so you have your brake caliper, right? This line here needs to go through that little slot. Alright, so as you can see, this guy here does not go in there. Now granted, it does have a little bit of corrosion on it. I can probably clean that off. But the hole itself is not big enough. I actually took a caliper in there and yeah, it's not. It's just a little bit off. Now manufacturing like this could be better. So I'm gonna go grab a die grinder and wallow that out a little bit so I can actually get it in so it'll stay in place. Give me a second. Alright, all I have here is just a grinding stone on a pneumatic grinder. So just pull this out of the way. Don't let this thing hang off the cord. Also, you need to grab your spectacles. You don't want to get stuff in your eyeballs. Alright. Alright, there you go. Wallowed it out just a little bit in order to get this guy in there. Then you put your key in there, and now she's not going to go anywhere. Quality control. Come on. Give me some quality control. Alright, so the only thing we have left would be connect up your electrical. Click. And then grab a hold of your rotor. Make sure it's clean. Stick that guy back on. Bam! Alright, got everything in there. I got your rotor on. I would spray it down with some brake clean if I had some left, but apparently I just went through my last bottle. And so I don't have any left. I have to get some. All right, wheels on. Now this is just an impact driver. This is not a regular impact. Hardly any torque on this thing, so make sure you torque your lugs once it's actually on the ground and you can get a good bite on it. So, speaking of which, let's get this guy on the ground, torque everything, tighten up the bolts up top, and then take it out for a test drive. Yeah! Alright, it's back on the ground. As you can see, sitting all right. Now it's a little bit high on the front, only for two reasons. One, it needs to settle. And two, I need to go forward and backwards to actually flatten out the wheels a little bit. Because right now it's kind of, as it goes down, it has friction to try to get it to go flat. So once we get it moving, it should flatten out and it should be ready to go. But we just need to drive it. But first, we need to take our 10 millimeter and actually tighten all of our upper strut bolts. There you go. We're going to go ahead and torque this down to about like that. I'm sure there's a tech spec for it, but if you do it till it doesn't move very easily, it should be good. All right, are we done? No, because we need to torque our lug nuts. That is very important. Grab yourself a torque wrench. Now, I usually do most of my lugs to about 100 foot-pounds, or 90, whatever it's set to. This one's set to 100. All right. So that was pretty much it on this 2006 Mazda 3. We've already done a lot of work on it. We got some more work planned for it. Yep, look at all those parts. Ready to be put on. All I need now is Ray, because she hasn't done anything to the rear yet, and I need her here to be able to learn it. But anyway, hopefully this helps some of you. Very simple install. Anybody really can do it. Basic hand tools. Sometimes it does get a little bit finicky, but you should be able to do it in your driveway, in the parking lot, wherever, side of the road if you really wanted to. But I would probably recommend to go a little extra and just go ahead and pay for the whole thing together. I have done it the other way, and it is doable. I do have the tools to do it. I didn't have time for it right now because I got other things trying to get done. And so I went ahead and splurged a little bit and picked up the whole spindle and everything. Because if you really look at it, the only thing you're really saving would be the spring, because you need a new strut and you need a new top cap, and that's only if you can get the thing off. So I got the whole thing. Anyway, take a look at all the other stuff. If you really want to take the spring off, like I said, there's a video somewhere up there somewhere. And go ahead and check it out. Maybe you can do it yourself. Till then, take it easy, have fun, all that good stuff, and we'll see you out there doing something. Later.